Hey, welcome back. Remember the email? askgeorgeuncle@gmail.com. Keep shooting your questions. I mean, getting a lot of questions in my counseling and all of that, and I have too many questions to answer, but keep sending your questions. Your question is very, very special. I always read the questions. I don't tell the names, sometimes even the gender. I try to keep it very neutral. Let's see what's the question that we have today. Okay, here we go. I've been watching wrong stuff. I'm fed up and I want to come out. And I always think that I want to come out, but I'm not able to come out. Now, when you're talking about wrong stuff, maybe you're talking about pornography, or maybe watching some of those wrong videos or wrong places. I mean, during this pandemic, I've seen many teenagers, many young people slip into it. I recently got a call from a college student, studying in one of the top colleges. In fact, it was yesterday. And I loved this guy. I mean, this guy, he called me up and I asked him to send a voice note because I was busy with something. And he sent me some voice notes, and this is what he said. George Uncle, I've realized it. I'm in college now, in second year. But I've realized that I have to take step to stop this. This is spoiling my life. This is spoiling my mind. I'm not even able to see somebody of the opposite sex properly. Sometimes I get some of these messages from boys. Sometimes I even get from girls. During this pandemic, a lot of slips have happened. It's just out of curiosity. I just want to see, what's that video? What is that? I mean, really? Yuck. It doesn't look so great. I mean, what is this? Going in, and suddenly that video is going into something else, and that video goes into something else, and it just goes on and on and on. And before you realize, you've been doing it for several hours, and you've been doing it for several days, and it's become an addiction. Okay, I'll quickly explain this. This is like you going through the forest. You're walking in the forest. You've been walking on this road, but suddenly you wanted to detour, and you come out of this road and you start walking into the jungle. And you're using your knife to cut off the trees and everything, and you're creating your own path, and you're going in. But suddenly you realized, you went to the other side and you saw beautiful waterfalls. And you said, wow, this is amazing. They did not tell me in that road there is a waterfalls, but here I have found a waterfall. Then you come back in that same path that you went. Then you went and told some of your friends, and you went back in that same path, and your friends came back in the same path, and you kept going in the same path. Now that path is not very rugged anymore. It's become a trail, become a wider trail, it's become a stronger trail. It's almost become like a road. Now, young people, this is how neuropathways are formed in your brain. Because of a certain things that you've been doing, you maybe watch something and there's this dopamine squirt. What is this dopamine squirt? Dopamine is one of the feel-good hormone. You feel, so many of the guys who watch some of these wrong stuff, might end up in, doing some things and masturbation and things like that. And there's this dopamine squirt that happens and the feel-good factor. So a neuropathway that has been created. Try to erase that neuropathways. Now, to erase those neuropathways, you may have to start traveling in a different path. If you're going to keep going in the same path again, okay, George Uncle, traveling a different path and doing the same thing. No, not doing the same thing. You have to do something different. You have to invest your time into something different. That's one of the first things, erase that neuropathway. Second pointer is this. Be careful when you fall into it. What is the time that you're doing it? Sometimes it's when you have nothing to do is when you do this. When you have nothing to do, you kind of switch off. I've learned this principle after all my years. I've learned this principle. I don't have a time where I have nothing to do. And that nothing to do time is very dangerous. That nothing to do time is very dangerous. Today in my life, I've just said, no, I don't have any time of nothing to do. I always have something to do. Even if I'm sleeping, I have something to do. Even if I'm watching a movie, it's conscious, it's intentional. I'm not switching off and slipping into it. That's the dangerous place of it. I've always made this statement, see where your mind wanders when you have nothing to do. That might be the root of a problem that you might be facing. See where your mind wanders when you have nothing to do. So be careful of that nothing to do time. Always have some purpose with what you're doing. The third very important thing, spend time with family. Spend more time with your sisters, with your brothers. And this boy, I told you I was counseling in one of the colleges, and he just said, Uncle, I started playing carom with my family. I started playing Uno and chess with my family. And it's been wonderful. I just have cancelled some of those down times, where I have nothing to do and I can slip into it. Exactly. Fantastic. Form that relationship. Form the relationship with your parents. Form the relationship with your brothers and sisters. And do something that's of productivity, And a very important principle, keep yourself occupied. Keep yourself occupied, which means exercise yourself, do something, jog, do some cycling, have some energy being spent, especially during this pandemic. Not many of the young people have been doing any exercises, Start doing some exercises, and start spending some time praying. Think about your life. Pray about your life. Pray about where you're moving in. Pray about some of your maybe insecurities. Pray about some of your negativity. Pray about some of the people who are struggling. A lot of people struggling during this COVID scenario. Maybe you can pray for them. Tell their names and then their families, and pray for them. See how you can invest your time. See, this stuff is not very great, children. It's never going to stop at a certain distance, at a certain place. Many times teenagers say this, I've just been watching once in a while. No, I don't get very deep, Before you realize, you would have gone very deep. Before you realize, your mind is filled with filth. Watch out for it. I'm going to talk more on this. Ask different questions are there based on this topic. We will talk different aspects of this. But for now, watch out on your life. Your life has a purpose and you're too precious. Okay? And you can't throw it away. Remember, whatever is your question, send it askgeorgeuncle@gmail.com. Lovely talking to you.